Yo, 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 yo.
Yo.
What's up? Welcome back, my brothers. Welcome back. How was your week? Anybody can. How was your week? Want to
Everything's
set it
good.
off for us.
How's everybody? How's everybody?
Enjoyed my week, fellas. Despite the snow, took a day or two off because of the snow. Just chilled out with family, chilled out with my lovely and beautiful wife and loving family, and just kind of hung out a little bit and just chilled. You know what I mean? So it was overall a very good week for me. You know what I mean? And shout out to everybody at the gig and all people. As we know, I've spoken on it before. I work with the disabled population is actually the world's largest minority. And I just want to shout everybody out with that. I just learned that one of the things I'm always learning something. Black people, we are the largest. We are terribly undiagnosed when it comes to autism. So I just wanted to put that out there right now, and our children. So I just want to put that out there right now. We're closing the gap, and it's sort of a passion for me. I don't know how to really always put it in, but or explain it to people. But it's just something that's on my mind heavily these days. So I just wanted to shout that out.
We appreciate you, brother.
Definitely.
For a father that has a child with autism, I truly appreciate the work of people that work with kids like myself and adults like my son.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, brother.
What's up, Rod? How was your week, brother?
My week it's I got nothing to really say. I mean, I'm really getting tired of, like I said, house. All I do is chill in the house, shovel snow, chill in the house, shovel snow. I feel like I'm on the lam from the police right now, just staying in the house, doing absolutely nothing, peeking out the window and just looking at the weather, but nothing going on. I just need to change the scenery though.
I feel you.
But other than
Kelvin,
that, everything's good.
That's good. Kelvin, how about you, brother?
Well, I gotta apologize. First of all, the weather has been so bad. I just took my family over to the Bahamas, so that's where I'm broadcasting from tonight because they were just saying it was cold, and so we just had to get out. I really just took them there, and then I came back. But
private jet.
Right, exactly. Other than that,
Yeah.
So even though my itinerary, I booked the hotel for a week, but it's cool. I really wanted to just drop them. But the other thing is, I was selected as one of the judges for this year's Miss Black Awareness pageant. So I'll be doing that. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. That's a good look.
All right.
Yeah. Man, my week was okay. At one point, the natives got to me because my garbage can. My garbage can got stolen. Now, it's the funny thing, and it had garbage in it. So the garbage can, the garbage missing. So I'm talking to my other neighbors, and the neighbor said, "Man, I found a garbage can the other day." But then I said, "Okay." So I said, "Damn, it looked like my garbage can, but it didn't have the garbage in it." So somebody really stole my garbage can and left, and another one just probably blew down the block. So I got an extra garbage can. Somebody stole the garbage. I just can't believe it. Like I don't know. Hope it's not the feds looking through my garbage. I ain't do nothing. Everything I did was a long time ago.
Yeah, one man's garbage is another man's treasure, right?
Another man's treasure, right? Another man's trash, another man's treasure.
Whatever they're looking for, I ain't got none of it.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Because technically, once you put it to the curb, it don't belong to you.
I know. People don't know that. People don't know you go to jail for that, man.
Once you throw it out, once you throw it in the garbage, they don't even need a search warrant for it. They go take it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this a week after Valentine's Day and everything, and people were giving out nice cards to your loved ones and stuff like that. But the LAPD is something really foul. They put out a card, a George Floyd card, and it said, with George Floyd's face on it, said, "You take my breath away." And so now I guess it's under investigation. Some of the cops there, or whatever. I don't know if they got suspended or not. I didn't follow up on that. So any thoughts on that?
And that's the LAPD we talking about, right?
Correct. Yeah.
LA. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously we're not surprised about that. You know what I mean?
Nothing shocking about that.
Long history with regard to that type of behavior there, you know. But it kind of just shows me I don't know, man, just how far we have to go, and I start to wonder if it's even worth it, man. You know what I mean? Just like to constantly have the conversation, to constantly get excited or upset about it, man. You know what I mean? Because I'm just not an emotional type of person. Like it's hard for me to get kind of emotional like that about something. I'm more of a fixer. I see a problem, I'm gonna go ahead and fix it. You know what I mean? I just jump right in. So every time we turn around and we get upset about these things, and they're doing it on purpose. You have to understand that. You know what I mean? And they, I'm sure they did it. They had to know it was getting leaked, and they had to know they was going to get a rise. So I'm just kind of over that, and I just kind of wonder, what are we going to do, to stop that feeling, So just my thought process.
Rodney?
Yeah. Just like Derek said, I mean, LAPD doesn't surprise me. Is typical racist culture in law enforcement. They have a twisted way of being funny. Their sense of humor is a little bit twisted, and they think things like that are cute. I do disagree with one thing with Derek. There's a lot of things that go on in the police departments that don't leak. You know what I'm saying? Basically, when they do leak, it's because obviously somebody found it offensive and probably leaked it or sent out the card to somebody or whatever. That's probably most likely what happened. But this is typical, like I said, racist law enforcement. Oh,
we're losing Rodney.
Things like this is funny.
I think Rodney, we're losing Rodney.
I would say this, Rodney. Thank you for telling me that, because so often we see things like that. I see things like that, and I think it's like, it's the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's just nice. It's kind of almost reassuring to hear you say that, to say what you just said, because I feel like they're doing it on purpose, man. And I feel like, it's just one of those things, like, I don't know. It's I get upset, but then I stop, because I used to keep my wife up at night. Kind of civilized the savages.
Yeah, I think it's obviously it's tasteless. It's nonsensical. It is ultimately just the ultimate disrespect to this man, his life, his legacy, and his family. And I think we have to get to a point where it's not just documenting these things. I think at a certain point we have to just say, like other communities, there's got to be recourse and repercussion for when you disrespect people in this way. Even if I always believe you make people feel things financially. So, I mean, and then I think we've got to hold political leaders, hold their feet to the fire, because, again, you still have somebody that's over the LAPD. You still have, legislators that have to deal with the LAPD. So I think you've got to find those pressure points to make people respect you. I think there's certain communities in this country that have fought for years to make sure that they don't deal with hatred from any source, whether it's law enforcement or any other organization or group. And I think we have to do the same thing for our community and our culture. But for someone to do that, it just shows it's ultimately a slap in the face. It's the ultimate pushback for what they saw happen with all the young people that was kind of galvanized and coming together. And they just want to make sure that they can keep that divide very, very wide. To make sure that they always feel superior to this group. And I think it's a slap in the face to say, no matter what you do, no matter if you march or if you protest, this is how we feel about it internally. And so I think there has to be repercussion. And I think we got to be the people to make sure that we help enforce that repercussion.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. And Rodney said it before, that it's sad to say that you never saw any police unions speak out against anything that happened at the Capitol, anything like George Floyd. They don't speak about none of this stuff. Rodney and I had this conversation before. The unions have been silent about a lot of stuff, and I can't believe every single police union has not spoke out about what happened. So just goes
it doesn't surprise me, because you got to understand, when they speak out against stuff like this, then basically they're somewhat kind of admitting that there is a problem internally in the department, and they can't admit that there is a racist problem in the police departments across the countries. Because if they admit it, then basically changes have to be made, and then going to grip and control on the police department, and that's not what they want. They're trying to keep that good old boy network strong. You know what I mean? They don't want that broken.
Yeah.
Hey man, I think.
Go ahead, Derek.
No, I just think it's like one of those deals where it's the whole thing is a psychological play, and I think it's levels to how you can dissuade people from from wanting to do better, from wanting to achieve, for wanting to be included, and to kind of mitigate the response of people to want to improve their lives. And I think that's it's like if you have a deal, it's like the hookup. You know what I mean? These, you know how it is. These people turn around and they're getting their sons and their cousins and everybody else, their family members into the unions and stuff, and into the force. And, there it is. There it is. Yeah, you know, and they're just trying to keep that lane open, you know, any way that you can.
Yeah. I want to. Is it Rod Freeze? Oh no. Oh, there he is. Okay. So
I'm good.
Yeah, he froze a little bit, but this will change a little pace real quick. So, and today, again, was trending last week. I don't know if people saw it or not. Was people was trying to call out in Black Twitter and stuff like that, calling Russell Wilson a simp because he adores his wife and he cherishes his wife, and they saying that because she used to mess with Future, and they saying she belongs to the streets. The same thing happened to the brother Michael B. Jordan for showing his love and his affection for Steve Harvey's daughter, Lori Harvey, and people calling him simps. And I mean, people don't know what a simp is. They saying he's a simpleton, he's a sucker, but saying these girls belong to the streets because they all dealt with Future and cats like that. What do you guys think when brothers try to show affection to their women, and women that might have had a tainted past, but who doesn't have a past?
And you're gonna get rid of all of Luther Vandross's whole catalog. You know what I'm saying? The entire catalog. If you fall into that, Luther's been very good to me in my life. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't feel for the. I don't know what's going on with that right now, man. This whole war. It seems against men against women, and particularly Black men against Black women, and I don't know what's going on with that. But I can't get that.
I'm sorry, Derek. I haven't. The way I look at it is this. I think there's I think it's kind of like different people have a different ideology. There has been for years perpetuated in this. There's been a culture that I've always said that has put young men and women against each other. So a young man starting, and I think you take it back to when we were younger. A lot of dudes did not encourage you to treat women well. It was almost like women are going to play you, so you play them first type situation. And I think people have continued that. So when a lot of dudes see a man treat a woman with affection, a lot of times these guys did not grow up seeing some male in their life treating a woman that was older than them or older than them, a mother or aunt, the same. They didn't see that. So they didn't see, there was no natural affection. So I think some people have this culture. If you look back at hip hop, historically, the way women have been treated, the way women have been looked at, the way women have been frowned upon, you look back, I mean, think about to like the Streets of Watching and with Jay-Z and all, and the way women were kind of viewed. And I think a lot of dudes in the street kind of had that image of women where it was like, they will be subservient or whatever. Don't trust them. They're just good for whatever you want them to be good for. And so I think people have carried that on. Now, on the other side of it, I don't think men should, kind of flaunt what they do for their significant other online. I don't think they should necessarily, because, when you get that, you're going to open yourself up to that type of criticism. You know what I mean? So if you do that publicly, then you're going to get the backlash publicly. Sometimes people are just jealous of it. Sometimes people that have no regard for women are going to have a negative or adverse effect to it. So I think that's the issue. But the way I look at it is the woman that you love, treat her the way you love treating her, especially if she loves it, and forget what everybody else is saying. And that's how I look at it.
Well said, Calvin. Well said.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I agree a lot with what Kelvin just said. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we are talking about this man's wife, right? I mean, if he chooses to basically celebrate his love for his wife or basically put it out there, yeah, he's going to open himself up for criticism because that's the type of world we live in with social media. Mm-hmm. But, to me, if a man says something nice about his wife, to ridicule him for it, I think that's just ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, it is his wife. I mean, they have kids together too, right?
Yeah, they have beautiful children.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, if he wants to worship his queen or whatever, however he wants to put it, I don't see nothing wrong with it. The problem is, like I said, just like Kelvin said. Kelvin said that basically a lot of people see that as being bad or being weak. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see that as the case. The man wants to praise his wife, he can.
Yeah, and that's the thing with like Little Bootsy and all these cats, right? They're judging these women, right, when they pass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we're gonna start judging everybody on their past, they be the same people like going to court, saying to him, "Hey, Your Honor, this is my man. He did this in the past, but look at him now. He did this. He's a good person now."
Correct.
So we can't have it both ways. I mean, one way. Like the women can't do this, but but my man that shot 8 people and sold crack to babies, he should be forgiven for what he did in his past.
He gets a pass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets a pass.
Right.
And I told somebody, I always put this to when I talk to my young girls, my students before, and guys are trying to call them hoes. I said, if a girl's 18, she's first time having sex, right? First time she has sex in January of her 18th birthday with a boyfriend, breaks up with him, gets another boyfriend in July or September, makes him have sex in November. So she had 2 partners. Now, say if she averaged 2 partners to the age of 36, she break up, she dating them and have them. So now she considered a hoe. But I can sleep with 36 women in 30 days.
And you'll be the man.
Well, let me say this.
You know what I'm saying? So
Long time.
We recognize the double standard. It is a double standard, and I have to admit, and I think, and I'm guilty of it too. I mean, and when I say guilty of it, I just think at the end of the day, in our mind, we are, or at least I grew up processed to think that women viewed sex differently than men. So when a boy would go out and just try to sleep with everybody, we just chalked it up to being adolescent and being, sexually whatever, because he hits his sexual peak a lot earlier. When a girl did it, we always thought there was something more involved because it's more of a internal thing. It was more of an emotional thing. It wasn't, women didn't, from what I always thought growing up, women didn't look at sex as frivolously as we did initially. And so I think that's why there's the double standard. Now, whether or not that's true or not, that's up to the person. I'm just saying that it's just, a guy will sleep with a woman who he don't even love, who he doesn't care about, who he's not even attracted to. Women used to have a bigger standard for that. You know what I'm saying? There's some women that wouldn't sleep with a dude that she was into just because the way he asked or the way he disrespected her or whatever. And so that's why that double standard exists. Because to me, if women ever start acting completely like dudes, which is starting to happen now, then we just in a lot of trouble because it's going to be a wild, wild west.
Speaking of judgment and stuff like that, who always a hot topic right now, and he keeps trending and trending up, and he's trending fast. Brother Kevin Samuels, and the other night, Kevin Samuels. I mean, I'm a part of Clubhouse, and Clubhouse, I saw one night they had a room talking about Kevin Samuels for 18 hours. Women are seriously upset, and they are bothered by Kevin Samuels. Some women, mostly, and then it seems like I don't know. What do you guys thought on Kevin Samuels? I think he's here to stay. I mean, I understand some of the stuff he says. I agree with some of the stuff he says. I think his approach is a little different, but I think his approach is here to stay.
But how are they upset by him when they keep calling into his show?
No, it's not the women that's calling in. It's the other people judging the women that's judging this whole show when they call in.
I don't know. I think he has his audience, man. I think his people who like Kevin Samuels, they call in for whatever that thing is that he gives them. You know what I mean? And it's just one of those things. There are women out there who just, we can decide, we can turn around and say, well, they're calling in because they have this sort of esteem issue, or they have this issue, or whatever you want to call it. But whatever that thing is that they get, that they're looking for, they call his for that. And I don't know. You know what I mean? I personally, I don't. If you ask for my opinion, I don't know. I don't get it. You know what I mean? I he looks. You already know my. I don't. Right. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed by Omi, but I don't know. I don't know his thing. I don't know.
Rodney and I was in the room the other night. So Rodney, what's your thoughts on Kevin Samuels? Because we was in this clubhouse room for 3 hours.
Just like, we were on there talking about Kevin Samuels. Let me explain something to you, right? We weren't the only room that was in there talking about Kevin Samuels. There were tons of other rooms. And I think you said, D, that one room went on for 18 hours.
18 hours.
18 hours. Let me tell you something. Kevin Samuels is here to stay, period. He is here to stay. Kevin Samuels is going to be able to write his own check soon, and he's going to definitely get his own show. You watch and see. The thing is this, right? I remember the first time I ever saw a Kevin Samuels clip, right? I looked at it and I said, wow, that's pretty harsh, But then the thing is, it seemed that people gravitated to it. You know what I mean? And mostly women, because he's definitely giving you blunt force trauma. That's what he's doing. He's not curving it. He's not putting no sugar on it. He's hitting you with it straight. There's not even ice in the glass. It's just straight. So the thing is, some people, and I think how he's captured people's interest is because I think women are kind of finding that he may have the answer that they haven't figured out yet. You know what I'm saying? So because he's giving it to them straight, and let's face the facts too, guys. I don't know if you disagree or not, but there are some women that come in there and they say things and they're not living in reality, and he tries to bring them back to reality. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, we had this that's kind of like a shock jock of relationships, and we all know from past histories with like Howard Stern, Starr, and Buck Wild, even if people hate you, they still tune in and they listen to you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So the thing is, I think that's what's the deal with Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels ain't going nowhere. This guy's about to be the right. He's about to he hit lotto. This dude's gonna blow.
Yeah, Kelvin.
Well, this is what I'm thinking, and so there are two things here, two dynamics. One of them is the actual popularity and success of this person. The other one is kind of like the character versus charisma. So that's my concern. I think anybody who has a podcast or a platform can get up there and spew different things to make themselves popular. What I would say is, I'm fortunate enough to do a show with you gentlemen. I want to do a show with men that have integrity, and that doesn't mean that we can't have levity, and that doesn't mean that, but if this was something that was just to tear down the community and to me it wasn't advantageous, I wouldn't be interested in it. That's how I look at him. I agree with Rodney. He does say some things that are correct, but let me tell you something. Just because certain things are correct don't mean that they need to be said. And I think the way he presents himself, to me, I see a person, this is my interpretation, I see a person who has no regard for women. I see a person who does not care for women. I see a person who does not love or respect women. And so whatever advice you have to give a person, if I don't think you're doing it because it's for their betterment, then I don't have much regard for you. And when I see him, I see that. I think he is, I think he's posturing. I think he's saying what will do exactly what Rod described, which is make himself popular, can write his own check and things like that. But I learned long ago, and the great Robert Townsend said this, there's work at the post office.
Yo, with that, listen, so, we see what's going on in Texas, right? It was bad down in Texas. But this time, listen, we got our first, let's chop it up, on the ground weatherman.
Oh, we got a correspondent?
We got a correspondent right now. Listen, this guy,
he got a coat on down there.
He's a friend to the show. This is my main man, Jamie. Can you bring in our weatherman on the ground, Mr. Rudy Rush?
Oh,
hey, what's good, fellas?
Brother, right there.
What's up, Rudy?
First thing I want to say is, all the women that I've slept with, I was the victim. Okay. I was targeted. I was young, sexy. I don't know what happened.
You was taken advantage of.
You know what I mean? And I feel like my numbers are too high because I was taken advantage of. Okay. Let's put that out there right off top.
So Rudy,
what up, Rudy? How you doing, baby?
Guys, how y'all doing, gentlemen?
Brother?
Good, brother. So, Rudy, man. So how? First of all, how are you doing? Do you have your power back? You have water? What's going on with you, man?
Yeah. So I'm a New Yorker, so let me just start off with that. A lot of us was looking at this whole situation like, hey, it's 20 degrees, it's 3 degrees, it's snowing. But what we failed to realize, and it was a big situation, almost to a point where it could have been a national, and it was in some cases a catastrophe. These homes, just think about this, fellas. We have the salt to put on the roads. When you sign in all of these bills and everything, I'm sure somebody sitting in Dallas who hasn't had a snowstorm in over 30 years is like, what? I'm gonna get trucks. I'm gonna put money in the books for trucks. So we didn't have that. The roads weren't treated. You're sitting there with almost snow is heavy. But, we in New York and places like that are used to it have the means to get that snow off your roof or whatever. So you got people here who've never had snow on their roof, never really probably had the proper fixings in the roof. Now you got like 100 or 200 and 300-400 pounds of snow on your roof that's turned into a block of ice. Now it's melting. It's busting your pipes. It's tearing down, like these power grids. So now you have a situation where the water, the electricity. So it got really bad for a lot of people. And so that was the emergency. And that's some of the little language that I like to translate to let people know how serious it actually got here.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of those homes in Texas wasn't constructed for winter conditions. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't having no winter.
Look, Rod, they houses made of straw. The piggy's head, the little piggy's head made their houses out of. Big Bad Wolf came through and was like,
Big Bad Wolf came through and blew it all down, right?
Absolutely. So that's what we was faced with here. It was pretty bad though. And just to give you guys an example, because as a New Yorker, I was like this. I had snow on my shoes, and I came in my truck, and there was some snow on the floor. It was so cold that snow stayed in my car for like 2 days.
Wow.
It didn't melt. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So that's how it was quite frigid here. It was really cold. So yeah, and the wind chill factor, which really counts when you become a grown up. When you're a kid, you don't know what it means. Wind chill factor was real. So yeah, it got bad here.
So they understand the wind chill factor down there, man.
Yeah.
Rudy, chop this up for us. So Ted Cruz made national news, of course, and there's a lot of supporters, in the state for him. How did you see some of his supporters? Were people ultra critical of him? I did see people protesting in front of his house. How did that play in the state, or at least where you are? Did that come down to you?
So I thought about it, and it all goes back to, things that you learn coming up. And one of my big homies was like, yo, somebody's a sucker, they always gonna be a sucker. You know what I'm saying? So
sucker, that's right.
And I'm gonna give Ted Cruz this much. He didn't plan his vacation before this happened. Right. The vacation was already planned. So, all of us, we've been in situations. Some of us are married, and his wife was probably like, everything is going to be fine. He probably was kind of pushed towards the fact like, everybody's going to be cool. I can get away with this. I can do whatever. And sometimes you make one bad step, especially being a politician. I think that's what he did. I wasn't so mad at him. I said, yeah, sometimes, you got this thing all planned out. Everybody's been kind of cramped down with the COVID. It's probably his first vacation. He's like, yo, I'm not canceling this vacation because, there's so many weather reports that come through here that turn out to be fraudulent. So he probably like, it's not going to be that big a deal. And it hit, and it just kind of worked out not in his favor. So, so,
He misstepped too much.
It's karma too.
He misstepped too much for me. He misstepped on January 6th. So fuck Ted Cruz.
No, absolutely. But and that's why I'm telling everybody, like, if he showed himself to be that way before, what are you tripping for now?
Yeah.
I mean, his real name is Raphael. So let's keep it a buck on that. So, let me ask you a question, Rudy, real quick before we go. How'd your daughter? Is your daughter's first snow? Is this Ramsey's first snow?
Yo, you know what? Actually, it is her first snow because my oldest, who's 14, she's had a few, and that's one thing living here in Texas. I was like, damn, my kids don't never get a chance. But yeah, she got snow angels made, and I don't agree with it, but her mother was letting her eat snow. I was like, what the hell you doing? Yeah. I started to go Kevin Samuels on her mother.
Yeah. That snow is nasty.
Yellow snow, man.
Like we listen, the stuff that we had in our body, remember, like the 5-second rule and all that. Yeah. Put stuff in our bodies that's crazy. So I was like, all right, but yeah, she definitely got a chance to enjoy it. She's here now, she's being quiet, so I'll give her props because she don't know how to be quiet, but she in the back chilling.
One last
thing for the weekend.
Let me ask one last thing. Rudy. You do it in special. You can choose any venue in the world to do the special. What place is that?
Wow. There's a few. I mean, number one top of mind would be the Apollo. Just being from Harlem, being from New York, and just having, the ties to, being the youngest host of the show and working for 3 years prior to that with Steve. Just being in your own backyard, it would definitely be the Apollo. Then another one would be probably a theater in South Carolina where I got a lot of my upbringing as far as, going there at 14 and coming back to New York at 18. Like, it was a pivotal point in my life, which will be in my book. But at the same time, it's like, it's probably somewhere in the Low Country in the South Carolina area, or the Apollo Theater. The Apollo Theater is number one.
My man.
So Rudy, man, anything you got going on? I know you had a show in Atlantic City last week. Anything coming up?
You know what? It's so funny. I'm gonna be in California this week, just taking some meetings and stuff like that, working on some projects. The funny thing about 2020, everybody kind of find new avenues. And like, even with you guys, I think, did you guys start this show in 2020?
2020, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of more creative, more ways to just skin a cat as far as, tapping into your own potential and talent. So, I don't have to be just a stand-up. I could be a businessman. And I'm actually, trying to push some shows that are written by other folks and may not even star me in it, so it's just trying to put your hat in the ring. And the funny thing is, and we all need to realize this, even with me and D and your man Sam and everybody, I knew these guys for 20 years, but those are relationships I've always had. They just different now. Mm-hmm. Kevin Hart and I, we was in a car accident in a hoopty on West 4th Street. You know what I'm saying? Mike Epps is crying in my car because we ain't got no gas money. Like, these are people when you call now, it's a different situation. So I think everybody needs to just take a step back and look at that and, always look at your friends now like, hey, listen, this is something. So now I'm just taking advantage of it. And I have a lot to bring to the table too. So we all just gonna come up, and 2020 just kind of showed us all that.
Yep. All right. Yes. Rudy, man, we thank you, man. We love you, brother. And I hope to see you real soon in person. You and I talk on the phone almost every day. So it's all good.
Absolutely. And Kevin Samuels is here to stay. But you know what? You got to realize, and Kay, I feel how you feel a little bit because he's just a shock jock. Like he's and D called it. He's a little zesty. You're a little too clean for me.
That's what I'm saying.
He mad at ladies because they do not.
Hey, Rudy said it, not me. So all these sponsors.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're part of the community, be a part of the community. That's what I'm saying. At the same time, like, we all love Corey. Corey Holcomb is one of my favorite comedians, always will be. And it's the same thing. It's just telling the truth. It's just the delivery. And we got to give Kevin Samuels credit for that because a lot of the stuff he does say is true. Them girls be on there like, I'm a 10. He's like, you 5 feet, 200 pounds.
They have an unrealistic reality.
Absolutely.
Unrealistic reality.
He fit in.
All right, brother Rudy, man. Yo, this was good, man. Love you, brother, man. See you soon, man. Be safe.
All right, fellas.